told that we needed a few seconds. All right. So good morning again, everybody, and welcome to the media launch for the 4th annual Grenada Invitational. My name is Jason Skeet, and I'll be your host for the morning's proceedings, and we're here this morning to bring the media right up to speed with everything that has been happening in preparation for the 4th annual Grenada Invitational. Just before we go any further, not one to get deep involved in things without inviting the presence of God to guide us. And so I'd like to call on Dr. Francis Martin, and he's going to lead us in a word of prayer this morning. Please put your hands together for Dr. Martin.
Let's all stand. Let's all bow our heads. So, Father and God, we are truly grateful for this wonderful opportunity where as citizens we can come and decide on the launch of this very important activity. We pray that your Spirit would guide the proceedings here today, and that you would give fluence of thought and the ability to articulate very well the members at the head table. On a whole, dear God, we pray that you would be with the leadership of the Grenada Invitational, understanding the need for it and what it can do for us as a country and as individuals and sportsmen. We thank you for giving us the vision. We thank you for our partners that are with here us today, that you will continue to give them support and continue to give them success in their individual businesses and otherwise. We pray for the continued development of our country in sport, for Jesus' sake. Amen.
So please put your hands together for Dr. Martin, aspiring preacher. He has some work to do, but he's going to get there. He's going to get there. With some coaching, he's going to get there. This morning, we want to say a special, very welcome to our Minister for Sport, the Honorable Nolan Cox. He also holds sports, culture, and the arts. So very warm welcome to you. Also, the Coordinator of Sports in the Ministry, Mr. Kerlin Peters. And with us this morning as well is the President of the Grenada Athletic Association, Mr. Charlie George. So please put your hands together for them. We also have a few members of the Board of Directors of the Grenada Invitational, Mr. John Williams and Pastor Dr. Francis Martin. Yes. Also, we have the chair with us, the chair of the Grenada Invitational, and I chose him last because he's going to be the next voice that you will hear, Mr. Dexter Mitchell. And he's going to come to bring you up to speed, give you a brief synopsis on where the Grenada Invitational came from, where it started, and how we would have gotten to this point 4 years later to bring to you what seems to possibly be, at this stage, the event that athletes are now fighting to get into because of space. The Grenada Invitational has gotten to the stage where athletes are now being chosen to say, well, hey, we're sorry, we have space or we don't have space kind of thing, because it has created that impact among international athletes. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the chairperson of the Grenada Invitational Committee. Please put your hands together for Mr. Dexter Mitchell.
Thank you very much, Jason. Minister of Sport, Senator Nolan Cox. Coordinator of Sport, Mr. Kerlin Peters. President of the Athletic Association, Mr. Charlie George. Members of the Grenada Invitational team. Our athletes liaison, who flew in yesterday from Jamaica to be with us this morning, Mr. Marvin Anderson. Well-wishers, sponsors, prospective sponsors, members of the media, good morning and welcome. As Jason said in his introduction, we are at the media launch of the 4th annual Grenada Invitational. And that has a really nice ring to it, the 4th annual Grenada Invitational. It is the 4th year of the Grenada Invitational. We are doing it for the 4th time. It has happened 3 times before. Let me just get that point across, and that will take care of everything else. When we started, we took the mantra that we are putting on a world-class event with world-class athletes at a world-class venue. And that has continued to be the mantra. And as Jason mentioned, and Marvin will expound on later on, the quality of athletes who are trying to get into the Grenada Invitational surely ascertains that it is a world-class event at a world-class venue, the KYRON James Athletic Stadium, with world-class athletes. One of the main reasons, and probably the main reason that has been able to happen, and we are in the fourth year, is because of a wonderful team that we have at the Grenada Invitational. I would like to acknowledge those who are with us this morning. Mr. Ian Marshall, they're all very versatile. He's our sound engineer this morning. Dr. Martin, who was our pastor this morning. Mr. John Williams, Mr. Colin Peters, Ms. Charles, who is with us this morning, Mr. Leonard Gordon, who is with us this morning. And because we've had a very consistent, strong, and determined team, we have been able to deliver, which would be this year the 4th Grenada Invitational. There it goes. You see the World Continental Games silver logo, which means that the Grenada Invitational has now been recognized by World Athletics, formerly the IAAF, as a silver category games. What it means is that we are one of only 10 silver games in the world. There are 10 gold meets and 10 diamond league meets. Our aim after today is to get to the gold level meets, and Marvin will elaborate on that. But it is a major accomplishment for us at the Grenada Invitational and for Grenada that of the 10 silver meets in the world, one of those meets are actually been held in Grenada. I think that deserves a round of applause. Another success of the games would have been our local sponsors. And we've had some that I would like to recognize who've been with us from the outset. Amerijet. Amerijet is very important to us, and Mr. Alexander is here with us this morning to get the production equipment in so that the world can see the Grenada Invitational on ESPN. Glenlake Natural Spring Water has been with us from the inception. We're very delighted about that, and we acknowledge your presence this morning. We have new sponsors, and we'll hear about that a little bit later on. Again, it speaks to consistency. It speaks to confidence in the product that is the Grenada Invitational and the fact that we are doing it for the 4th time. While we have the world-class designation, world-class athletes and so on, the underlying theme for 2020 can actually be the future, the past, and the present. Meaning that during the Grenada Invitational in 2020, the future athletes, the young athletes who are coming up through the secondary school systems will be featured. So our games director, Mr. Colin Peters, is working along with the KFC relays and Intercall to select some of the best young athletes to showcase at the Grenada Invitational before the main event, before the international segment. The present, and again Marvin will harp on who are the main athletes who are coming in from outside of Grenada, but the present current crop of the best athletes in the world will be featured at the Grenada Invitational. And the past. Because we are an Olympic year, we have decided that it would be pertinent to acknowledge our past Olympians. We've had about 43 persons represent Grenada at the Olympics previously, starting in 1994. And we are taking it upon ourselves to ensure that they are recognized for their contributions to Grenada and to Olympics and to track and field. One of them is here right now. I would like to recognize him. He was on the team for the first time in 1984, boxer Mr. Emerald Phillip. He's here this morning. Also would like to recognize, we have with us this morning, he's already confirmed to participate in the Grenada Invitational on April 4, 2020. And he's so excited, he's actually in Grenada now, and he's going to stay until the 4th of April. Now, actually, he's training in Grenada. The St. Lucia Sportsman of the Year. I think he won the Sportsman of the Year 2019. This is the 3rd time Mr. Albert Reynolds is with us. He's a javelin thrower from St. Lucia. And he's here because he's coaching with Paul Phillips. I would like to acknowledge the presence of Mr. Paul Phillips, the coach of Anderson Peters, our world champion in the javelin, and that is a major, major accomplishment. We now have 2 world champions, not only KYRON no more, we have it in as diverse as track and field events as you can get, the 400 meter and the javelin. So again, to Mr. Phillips and his team down at Las Vegas, and we have some of his young athletes here with him this morning. We acknowledge your presence. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to be very long. Thank you for coming, and I'm looking forward to the announcements because Marvin has been holding out on me. I'm not sure who I'm not sure who the athletes are, but he will make the announcement. Thank you. Oh, sorry. One thing before I go, sorry, I have the envelope with me. again, we really high on acknowledgement, and people who see the vision of the Grenada Invitational and understand what we are trying to do. We like to give recognition to them. One such gentleman, a huge fan of the Grenada Invitational, has been Mr. Roger Bayer. He has written some wonderful articles about the Invitational, and when we have messed up, he's called me to critique and to say, Dexter, you guys did this wrong, or you need to improve on that. So on behalf of the Board of Directors of the Grenada Invitational, I'd like to present, in our 4th year, to Mr. Roger Bayer, 2 VIP tickets to the Grenada Invitational. And thank you for your support, Mr. Bayer. Thank you very much, Mr. Bayer. And the lesson here is, when you are nice, nice things happen.
And nice things happen to nice people. Thanks a lot. Please put your hands together one more time for the chair of the Grenada Invitational, Mr. Dexter Mitchell. I just want to remind folks again that we're streaming live on Real FM Radio 91.9, and also we're streaming live on the Grenada Invitational Facebook page, Party Grenada, and Rampoon Radio. So please, once again, you could always send messages to your colleagues and let them know. Mr. Sound Engineer, Mr. Marshall, member of the Board of Directors, can you please just put a little bit more volume on the microphone? Thank you. Yes, fantastic. That's good. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, as Mr. Mitchell indicated, there are some sponsors who would have been with the Grenada Invitational from the very beginning, and then there are some new ones that would have come on board in recent times. What speaks volumes is when your sponsor can decide, you know, you want to come on board, give a testimonial, tell everybody this is what the games would have meant to you and your company, this is what it would have meant to Grenada and how you would have enjoyed being a part of it. So without any further ado, I'd like to call to the microphone Mr. Philip Gittins. He's the representative for Antillean Group. Please put your hands together for Mr. Philip Gittins.
Morning, everyone. To get the protocol in order, the Minister of Sport, Mr. Nolan Cox. Morning, sir. I must use my feather eyes. Here, be careful. Mr. Colin Peters, Sports Coordinator. Mr. Charlie George. Where's Mr. George? There he is. Mr. Marvin Anderson, the Grenada Invitational Liaison for International Athletes. Can I see that gentleman's face? I'm confusing. Yeah, okay. I'm mixing you up with someone else. All right. Mr. Dexter Mitchell, of course, Chairman of the Grenada Invitational. Guests, friends, supporters, sponsors. The Grenada Invitational is such a cool project for Grenada, for athletes, that Antillean Group, in the very first year, I believe Mr. Mitchell spoke to Mr. Kenny John, and we counseled that that is a venture that we ought to engage in, such that it kind of meets some of our sponsor goals. Youth, the development of youth, and the engagement of youth in activities that are incredibly positive, and by no means different, that it also helps the country at large, right? So, and I think this invitational meet not only did that in the first year, but has consistently delivered year after year after year. So I want to take this opportunity to congratulate the committee in positioning us now as the Continental Tour Silver in that block of special meets. I believe I have it right? Yes. That is important. It puts Grenada on the market, and I believe we're seeing the benefit of that. All right? Our company continues to support this venture. It is the 4th year, and we will continue to ensure that we give whatever we can to this venture. Thank you very much. Have a great time.
Notice he didn't speak about the possible millions. But if you want, as members of the media, you could always feel free to engage Mr. Gittins after. Maybe it is not something he wants to divulge just yet. But he didn't mention the fact that this company would have invested a significant amount of money in the Grenada Invitational. So on behalf of the members of the board and everybody else, I'd still like to say thank you very much. New sponsors coming on board is always a fantastic thing. It speaks to the credibility of the games. It speaks to the credibility of the organizers. And people look forward to that. People judge you from that. They gauge you from that. And so this year, 2020, there's a new sponsor on board in the company of Kawana Bay. I'm getting it right. Kawana Bay Resort? Yes, I'm getting it right. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mrs. Daisy Joseph Andel from Kawana Bay, and she's going to come to speak to us on the GI.
Thank you. Good morning, Honorable Minister Nolan Cox, other specially invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. I stand before you this morning speaking on behalf of True Blue Development Limited, the development company for Kimpton Kawana Bay Resort Project. And we're honored to be part of this morning's launch for the 4th annual Grenada Invitational. I agree that it has a wonderful ring to it. Allow me to share a bit about our company since we are new on the scene, but you will be hearing a lot more about us. The Kawana Bay Resort is branded and operated by Kimpton Hotel Group, part of the Intercontinental Hotel Group. And it is already an award-winning 5-star condo hotel development. Kimpton Kawana Bay promises to be a welcome addition and enhancement to the Grenada hotel product, and it is located on the stunning and already well-renowned, world-renowned Grand Anse Beach. Ultimately, Kawana Bay will create significant positive impact on the local economy. And once it's fully opened, we're looking at over 300 jobs created and a spin-off from that. While this will all materialize very soon, today we are both proud and excited to actively engage with other partners of the upcoming annual Grenada Invitational to show our passion for nation building and our support for sport and youth development. The road to Tokyo Olympics starts in Grenada. I don't know about you, but that invokes in me a sense of pride that I cannot express with words. The prominent position that Grenada has secured on the world athletic stage. And this is thanks in no small part to the magnificent performance of our homegrown superstar athletes. The visionaries behind the inaugural meet and the persons who have worked year after year to make this event what it is today must be applauded for their phenomenal effort. I was once told, and it stuck with me, that if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. And for many athletes, I think the Grenada Invitational is the event that sparks that dream bigger. That no, it might actually be reachable, a little less scary. And we thank the organizers for being a part of this, for giving us the opportunity to be part of what inspires our youth, our secondary school athletes, to dream big, and it provides the platform to attain those dreams. We stand here today committed to working alongside the organizers and our partners to ensure that the 4th annual Grenada Invitational is an unprecedented success. Thank you very much.
I remember when we had our sponsorship launch I mean, this room was filled with sponsors and prospective sponsors. And I see a lot of those faces here today again. So that tells me that something that we did on that day and what we continue to do worked and worked well. I say that specifically just to look across the room and say good morning to Mr. Rubis. Yeah, I want to call him Mr. Rubis. Yeah. I just want to call him Mr. Rubis because I want to just make sure and get everything in one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is another wow. I'd like you to meet Mr. Marvin Anderson. He is the Grenada Invitational Athlete Liaison. Currently, Marvin is the president of the Jamaica Olympic Association, Jamaica Olympians Association, not Olympics, the Jamaica Olympians Association. You see, they have an Olympians Association. We gonna have one too. Speaking that. Somebody say yes. Yeah? Right. Yes, he's the president of the Grenada of the Jamaican Olympians Association. He was a 100 and 200 and relay sprinter who represented Jamaica at the Carifta Games. He also ran at the CAC Games, the Pan American Games, World Championships, and of course the Olympics. At the World Championships in 2007 in Osaka, Japan, he was a part of the Jamaican 4x100 meter relay team comprising of Nestor Carter, Asafo Powell, and Usain Bolt. So those four gentlemen brought silver, establishing a new national record for Jamaica, second to the USA in that meet. And we all know what happened after that. It was nothing but gold. So it was the platform from which gold came. So Marvin is by no means a stranger to setting platforms. Anderson holds a bachelor's degree in international relations from the University of South Carolina, and a master's degree in sport administration from the Université Catholique de Louvain in Belgium. He's also an authorized athletes representative, the founder and CEO of Andy's Sports Management, which also does advisory work for Puma. So we ain't talking about no path, jokey situation here. Small in size, but he powerful. So I'd like to invite, please put your hands together and ask him all the questions you want after Mr. Marvin Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Master of Ceremony. It's always a pleasure to be here in Grenada. This is actually probably my 5th or 6th time here in Grenada. Well, with the beauty of Grenada, there's always a reason to be here outside of track and field. So I'm happy to be here in the capacity as the athlete liaison. And the Grenada Invitation is something that is there not just to the people of Grenada, but to the track and field fraternity. And it's an event that I can tell you that the entire track and field fraternity want to see be successful. And in rolling out the names in a few minutes from now, you will get that indication and stuff. But let me just first acknowledge Senator Norland Cox from the Ministry of Sports and Culture and Youth, the Grenada Athletics Association President, Mr. Charlie George, Chairman from the Grenada Invitational and other board members, sponsors, friends of the media, our volunteers who really have to acknowledge them. They're the one behind the scene that really make this event possible. Also, our partners. They might not be an official sponsors, but they are partners who ensure that this meet becomes a successful every year from year 1 to year 4. Special good morning to you all. I am equipped with something here from a board member. So
Let's see how we get this, because everybody wants to know what the athletes that's coming for 2020. And 2020 is a big year because it's an Olympic year. And whenever there's an Olympic year, you know, track and field and the profile tend to increase during that year. And it's no difference here. And as the chairman would have mentioned, the Road to Tokyo, it's probably the official first outdoor meeting on the track and field calendar. And most of the athletes will be looking to really kickstart their journey and their dream to be an Olympian and be successful at the Olympics here in Grenada. But as I said, it's the 4th year, and one of the things in terms of context of the Grenada Invitational is that over the years we've been lucky to have well over 50 Olympians and world champions participate in this event. So because of that presence, the Grenada Invitational in itself is a brand within the track and field circle. We have people from multiple countries. I mean, counting today, we have represented well over 20 countries that would have participated in the previous edition, and we're looking to increase on that for this year. Talk about the value of the Grenada Invitation to the athletes and to Grenada. An event like this, it's really unique because it's so unique that because of our warm weather. It's this time of year when most of our athletes look for warm climate to really continue their training. The indoor season would have been coming to an end right now. So most of our athletes are looking for that type of environment where they can really train in warm weather and do the explosive and extensive training which is required at this level. And the Grenada Invitation really provide them with that opportunity to really come here, get some training in, and get some competition in. But it's the environment. It's the people that they interact with. It's the hospitality here with the hotel that really attract our athletes. And why that is important, because when one athlete comes here and gets an awesome experience, they go back and tell their athletes globally. And then it's like it's the best marketing tool you can ever invent. It's the experience that they have here, and they go back and they spread that word. So what you find happening, no longer are we reaching out to athletes. Athletes are reaching out to us. When is the Grenada Invitation? Is the Grenada Invitation on? Can I get a lane? So that's the type of feedback, and that's because of the great hospitality the entire team has provided. The people of Grenada has really welcomed all the athletes from all over the world, and I think that is really important why the athletes keep coming back and add value to the Grenada Invitational. But the competition, I know everybody likes to hear the headline names and the star athletes, but when we think of the competition, the type of event that we put on, for instance, last year, in the long jump, we had Tajay Gale who competed, and you know, it wasn't a name known to anyone in Grenada. And by the time the summer was over, it's a name that's known globally. And he started his outdoor season here in Grenada in winning the long jump. So that's the type of environment. I mean, we think of Nia Ali and the 100-meter hurdles from the USA. She was in the event last year. She didn't even I think she would have gotten third or fourth in the event. She went on to the World Championship, and she was a gold medalist. So these are the type of athletes that we attract, that they might not be headliners, but remember that Grenada would have been the first to have seen them while they really matriculate to being gold medals and renowned athletes. But when we think of the country of Grenada and the impact it has on Grenada, the exposure, I give you a perfect example. When last year someone like Shelley and Fraser Price posted on her Instagram that she's going to be in the Grenada Invitation, immediately within 5 minutes, we have well over 350 of our followers aware of Grenada. I mean, just like that. So these are the type of impact that we have with our athletes. Once our athletes get the name out there, it really brings a buzz about Grenada. And while in some circles, people might not be aware of Grenada, because you think of athletics in the Caribbean, everyone thinks Jamaica, Jamaica, Jamaica. But when we have our athletes come here and they really use their social media platform to really promote their experience and what's happening here, it's mile and value to Grenada that I wouldn't want to put a dollar value to that. It's beyond any dollar value that anyone can really invest in this event. Also, the promotion. The platform of ESPN broadcasting this meet on all of its platforms, going into the US market, really highlighting what Grenada is all about. Again, speak of the value and the dollar value for that. It's not comparable to anything. And so it's important that we continue to really promote this meet and to really invest in this meet to ensure that it is a success. But to the fans, to the people of Grenada, outside of this event, I can't think of any other opportunity that the people of Grenada would have had to really interface and interact with these superstar athletes. And the opportunity for them to see them firsthand, it's really rewarding for the people of Grenada. And I think it's one of the best ways we can really show our appreciation to the people of Grenada by allowing them, giving them access to see firsthand world-class and elite athletes. So if I can encourage our partners, our sponsors, government officials, to ensure that we have always allowed the athletes to have that interface, that exposure with the fans. We don't bring them in and lock them away where the fans doesn't have access to them. They go to the stadium, they interact with the fans, they want to go dance in the stands. It's really had to the experience for the people of Grenada to have that closeness and interface with the superstar. So we look forward to continuing that trend for 2020. But Dexter would have, the chairman would have spoke briefly about the direction where we're going as a meet. We're happy to be a part of the silver level, the continental silver level, which the tier level for the IWF of its one-day meeting, it starts at the Diamond League where there's 10 globally. Then we have the gold level, which is 10 again global, and then we have the silver level, which is 10. And for the Grenada Invitation to be a part of that 10, it's really a huge accomplishment, and that goes out to the hard-working LOC. And let me say that we're happy as an event to be labeled in that category, but be assured that the groundwork has already been laid and started to ensure that when we're back here in 2021, we'll be having an upgrade from silver. So I don't know what comes after silver. You can tell me. So let me just bring you to really what you guys really want to hear. All of that other stuff was enough. But again, we're happy to really announce that the reception from our athletes, the feedback has been positive. And if we had the budget, we would have had a mini Olympics. We could easily hold a mini Olympics if we had the budget, but we just couldn't afford all the interest that we get from athletes, all the gold medalists. As I said, it's one of those events, just as I'm sitting there, I'm getting a message, Marvin, what about this athlete? It is the type of activity that's going on with the Grenada Invitational. So I'll be listing some headline athletes that has some familiarity with the people of Grenada. And it's not limited, but negotiations will continue to go on, and we'll continue to add other athletes' names to this list in the coming days and weeks as we get closer to the April 4th event. So the first athlete I'd like to introduce for the Grenada Invitational 2020 Road to Tokyo edition is Elaine Thompson-Era, Jamaica. And she's a double gold medalist from the 2016 Olympic Games. And in 2019, ranked number 3 in the 100 meter, ranked number 2 in the 200 meter. And this will be her first time running in the Caribbean outside of Jamaica, and will be the first time in Grenada. So she's looking forward to it, and so too should be the people of Grenada. Kendra Harrison, 100 meter hurdles world record holder from the United States. She's a world indoor champion, world outdoor silver medal in 2019, 3 times US champion 2017, 2018, and 2019. And with the recent World Athletics ranking system that was in place, she's ranked number 3 in the world for 2019 over the event. Shanika Ricketts from the triple jump, again from Jamaica. She's a two-time Jamaica national champion. She was a Diamond League winner in 2019, World Championship silver medalist in Doha in 2019, a Pan American Games silver medalist in 2019 as well, and was world ranked number 2 in the event for 2019. This will be her first time in Grenada as well. So one of the themes that we really wanted to develop was that we know a lot of people want to come, but we want to introduce the people of Grenada to new athletes, and also to really, not really to throw away the old athletes, but really also give them the opportunity to continue to be here and really expose our younger athletes, just like the chairman would have alluded to earlier. It's representing the past, present, and the future. So the theme will continue with the presentation of these athletes. Next up, Rochelle Clayton. She's from Jamaica as well. She will be the lead athlete in the 400-meter hurdles. She was a bronze medalist in the world record race in Doha. She's also a bronze medalist from the Pan American Games. And we look forward to having her lead in the 400-meter hurdles women. That's an event over the year that we haven't been able to attract quality athletes, and we're looking forward to really change that trend. And based on the reception and the entries that we have seen so far, this potentially can be your Olympic finals. You probably will have roughly 6 of these girls that will probably be in the Olympic finals later this summer. We spoke earlier about introducing the younger athletes. Sha'Carri Richardson from the USA, age 19 years old, but she's a world junior record holder in the 100-meter and 200-meter. I mean, in the 100-meter, she has a personal best of 10.75. We'll give her chairman a very hard time going down the straightaway. But she's coming out of the US collegiate system. She will be opening up her professional career here in Grenada. And it's really big. And to really continue with our emerging star and our future potential star, Brianna Williams from Jamaica, age 17 years old. She's our double world junior champion from Jamaica as well. Jamaica record holder in the 100-meter and the world record holder at age 15 category. So again, some of our future stars will be gracing the Grenada soil in a month time from now. Continuing that trend, Tamari Davis. She's a 16-year-old who just maybe 2 weeks ago turned professional. Very talented. She holds so many age group records. Coming to Grenada, where she will be really kickstarting her professional career. And the name might not be familiar immediately, but rest assured that you would have seen this young lady here first in Grenada. Very talented athlete. She's foregoing all the collegiate running circuit to really kickstart her professional career, and we're happy to have her here in Grenada. So on the men's side, we also have Ewan Blake. Ewan Blake, the second fastest man in history, behind, of course, Usain Bolt, double Olympic silver medalist, one-time World Championship gold medalist in 2020, and of course, he was the youngest world champion in 2011. This will be Ewan Blake's first time running in the Caribbean outside of Jamaica. So no one in the Caribbean would have seen Ewan Blake run outside of Jamaica. So this will be his first time on the Caribbean side outside of Jamaica. And he's excited and looking forward to being here in Grenada. But of course, we have to take care of our own Grenadian. And Lyndon Victor, homegrown here in Grenada, gold medalist at the Commonwealth in 2018, gold medalist at the Pan American Games as well. And just want to ensure that the Grenada people are able to really have that type of interaction and ensure that our Grenadian athletes are well represented at the meet, and to ensure that they have that opportunity to come back and have that interface with their fan base here. I mean, most of them, they wouldn't reside here in Grenada, and this provides an opportunity for them to come back, come in, interact with their high school, their former coaches, the community, and that is the type of activity that will go on throughout the week with our Grenadian athletes. So when they come in, they'll be going out and interacting with the people of Grenada. Next, we have KYRON McMaster, 400-meter hurdles from the British Virgin Islands, Commonwealth Games champion and ranked number 3 in the event. Again, with the 400-meter hurdle, it's an event that we're putting some effort into. It's one of those events over the years that we haven't been really able to attract high-class talent in, and this year we're really making the effort to ensure that we have quality in those events. KYRON McMaster, maybe 2-3 years ago, maybe President George can remind me, but he lost his coach to a hurricane in the BVI, and it's been a rough journey for him since then. He has relocated to the United States, and he was 4th at the World Championship last year, just barely missed the medal, and he'll be looking to lead a very strong field here in Grenada. Next up, Tajay Gale, long jump. He will be leading the long jump. Again, Tajay Gale, the most talked about jumper in the world at this moment. And I will tell you that wherever this guy shows up in 2020 for a long jump, the entire world will be on world record alert because he's that talented. The jump he did at the World Championship is a distance that hasn't been done in well over 10 years. So very talented athletes, the world champion in 2019, the silver medalist from the Pan American Games, and Tajay Gale was the winner of this event last year, so we look forward to having him back as we continue to really promote the field events at the Grenada Invitational. Justin Gatlin, he likes to call Grenada his second home. He's been here from year one. And there's no talking Justin out of not coming to Grenada. It's just a part of his routine, and Grenada is always happy to have back Justin Gatlin. And although he might be getting up there in age, he's still quality. He was 2nd at the World Championship in Doha and continued to be a part of the USA team strong 4x1 relay team. And his presence here really adds credibility to that 100-meter field that will goes on April 4th. So we welcome Justin Gatlin back home to Grenada. And if Justin calls your second home, KYRON James. KYRON James will definitely be coming home to participate in the 400-meter. And of course, his records speak for itself from London, from 2016. And I think in the track and field fraternity, we're just happy for KYRON. He's with his health issue that he had to undertake over the previous years, for him to really persevere and to be in a position where he went to the World Championship. He was 5th, but it was a credible performance. And the time he did, in fact, would have given him a medal in probably the previous 3 editions of the World Championship. So KYRON is back to his game, and he's looking forward to coming to Grenada and to really celebrating with the people of Grenada. And then we have Anderson Peters, javelin. We wanted to make sure that Anderson Peters, he's one of those guys that maybe as early as December, when is the Grenada Invitation? When is the Grenada Invitation? So we want to ensure that, you know, we, the people of Grenada, we ensure that he comes home and being able to interact with the Grenadian people to show his appreciation for the support, because that's really important for him. So he'll be here for a full week and really will be going back to his school, back to his community, interacting with the people of Grenada, ensuring that he shows appreciation for the support that you guys would have given him over the many years. And so those are our headline athletes. But I say it doesn't stop there. We have other confirmation. We have on the female side, Jenna Pendini, 200 meter USA, Shamir Little, 400 meter, about Sage Watson. She was a finalist at the World Championship in the 400 meter hurdles. Ashley Spencer, she was a finalist again in the 400 meter hurdles from the recent World Championship. Andrea Vargas from Costa Rica, she was a finalist in the 100 meter hurdles. Blessing Akabara from Nigeria in the 100 meter. Jasmine Kamaujo Quinn, 100 meter, she now represents Puerto Rico. She has one of the fastest time in the history of the event in the 100 meter hurdles. We have Courtney Okola from the 400 meter in the USA. Shakima Wembley, 400 meter champion from the USA in 2019. So these are just some of the supporting cast that we'll really put together to ensure that we have a quality event at the Grenada Invitational. On the men's side, we have Asafa Powell coming as well. We have Devon Hallin in 110 hurdles from the USA. We have Divine Odururu, that's what I said, hope I get it right, from Nigeria. His time of 9.8, one of the fastest time coming out of the collegiate system last year. Michael Cherry in the 400 meters, Zanel Hughes, a finalist in the 100 meter from Great Britain. Heron Brown, a 200 meter finalist from Canada in the 200 meters in 2019 as well. So these are just some of the people that we'll be putting together to ensure that we have a quality meet. And one of the things as you embark and you enjoy the festivity of the day is to make note of the names that you would have had seen and experienced at the Grenada Invitational, because rest assured, come late July, early August, you might be sitting in your living room and you will be able to say, that guy was in Grenada. So ladies and gentlemen, we thank you and we look forward to building on our 2020 edition and to ensure that we can really have this event in the platform of the athletics calendar, where it is at one of the premier athlete event when it comes down to the IWF list of one-day meetings. And we look forward to working with all the partners, sponsors, the media, government. You can't thank government enough, because with their support, the Athletics Association is critical in ensuring that we partner with them and ensure that that synergy exists. And we really look forward to ensuring, especially our volunteers. I can't thank you guys enough. Without the volunteers, I mean, I'm not even sure if an event of this nature can really take place. So I want to thank everyone that's really played a role. See Sadiq here, who I am the guy that I interact with when it comes down to all the athletes travel. I mean, he can tell you firsthand, that's like a nightmare. I mean, flying in well over 150 athletes and support staff into Grenada. And it requires a lot of patience. And it's one of those logistics that really tests the mental of your patience. And really happy to see Sadiq and everyone that has really contributed to this event. The LOC, they have worked hard to ensure that the structure is in place so that not just in Grenada but outside of Grenada, this event is credible and people have the confidence to ensure that the Grenada Invitation is just not an event that's popped up, but an event that will be sustainable for many years. So thank you again, and we look forward for your continued support.
So the road to Tokyo starts in Grenada, the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. Please put your hands together once again for Mr. Anderson. He might be soft-spoken, but I remember seeing him on the track. He ain't no wimp. So I think a lot of people kind of took that soft-spoken nature on the track and said, hey, he's soft, man, I go deal with him. Until the gun went off. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, he spoke about the involvement of government and the significance that government would play in an event like this. And we have a very enthusiastic Minister for Sport, Culture, the Arts. I mean, He's probably one of the most prominent minister for sports I've seen, because he's just about everywhere with everyone doing everything. And he's here again today. So ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to put your hands together for Senator Nolan Cox, the Minister for Sport, and he's going to come to the microphone.
Thank you very much, Mr. Skeet. Let me take this opportunity to recognize my coordinator for sports, Mr. Colin Peters, Dexter, the chairman of the Grenada Invitational Committee, and other members of the committee. Sponsors, I see my good friend in the back, President Lahi, is here from the Grenada Olympic Committee. Charlie left the room, but the Grenada Athletic Association, media personnel, our world champion coach, Paul Phillip, and our guest training here from St. Lucia. Thank you for choosing Grenada. This is probably the best place to be in the world, but yeah. I think I must start off first by congratulating the Grenada Invitational Committee for where they are today. And I see this in the context because I have an integral and intimate involvement in everything that went on and continue to go on with Grenada Invitational. And we have had I say we because of course the government is a key stakeholder. We have had a very, I don't want to say difficult, but an interesting journey to where we are today. And I think with everything that would have transpired, I still think it is fitting and appropriate to recognize persons who would have been there from start and probably no longer there for maybe their vision, their contribution, their support to the Grenada Invitation. I think that is very important, and I want to commend them. And maybe I should have started out by trying to say what everybody has said, the fourth annual Grenada Invitational, the road to Tokyo. This is a very important activity for the government of Grenada and people of Grenada as well. This event, as we can see from the room, the wide array of stakeholders who are here and sponsors in particular, it means that the Grenada Invitational transcends through a number of institutions and organizations. And so that is what is very important about it. Apart from our carnival, the Grenada Invitational is probably next in terms of magnitude and impact. I am happy to hear that we, even before we started, we have already medal. So I understand we have a silver medal. We achieved a silver medal. So that is something good. One of the things that we are very pleased about the Invitational is the impact that it has on our young athletes. We believe that persons coming here and some of the fascinating athletes that I see before, it will help inspire our young and upcoming athletes to want to do better, to want to go farther, to want to do more. And notice that the Invitational is coming just on the heels of the Intercall that I believe will even add more substance to what is taking place in sports in Grenada this year. But I really want to take this opportunity, and I was sitting there and knowing what it takes to really host these games. I really want to, at this point, really recognize my coordinator for sports. Sometimes the person who directs the games. And we always have this conversation when we have events. Because how we operate and how he in particular operate, sometimes it make it look so easy. But I know it's a difficult task. So Mr. Peters, I want to say thank you for sticking it out. And I know that you have to get some good rest. But you know that after the hard work, we normally have a glass of water thereafter when we cool down. About a month or so ago, the Invitational team came to see me, and I was very frank with them, as always. in terms of government expectations. And just as how when the Prime Minister engaged me, he does be frank as well, so I have to transfer that frankness to whoever I engage to communicate government's expectations. And one of the challenge for us as government with the Invitational is you have what you call a public good that is invested in a private company. And so as government, we only have a certain level of reach. We can advise, but it's so much that we can do. So we continue to reiterate the importance of the Grenada Invitational operating and functioning in a manner that will bring success and sustainability to this important public good. I think that is something that we do not have full control over, but we continue to reiterate that, and I've made that clear, and it's something that we're very, very serious about. Because as the chairman will know, some of the intricacies in terms of the government's involvement in ensuring that this event remains sustainable has been significant. And for us, it is important once we use state revenue to invest in the country, we make sure that we do it in the best manner and to get the results. We know that the games provide a significant reach for us through ESPN in terms of having over 90+ million viewers getting a glimpse of Grenada at varying times throughout the game. I think that is significant, that we can't really add a value to that. And I think that is something that we cherish most with the games. The experience for the athletes who come here, we know that that is also a part of our sports tourism initiative, that when they leave, they themselves sell Grenada. So I think that, again, is very significant. And Marvin, you have been doing a wonderful job, and we really want to thank you for that. But I think oftentimes not enough commendation have been given to our corporate sponsors. Where did we get the money? I don't know where to get the money, but your involvement is so invaluable. I was really, really impressed when I see them among the sponsors here this morning. I hope everybody's sponsoring though. But I was really impressed, and I think that all goes well for government. We are very impressed by that. Once we see the corporate community working and investing, it's very easy for me to convince the boss to invest more. So that is good. So continue with that. We are from the ministry and the government, we are here. We are always available. Any issues, any concerns. We know that at times it can be difficult. We know that at times there are challenges. It's not going to be easy. But I believe that once we dialogue and communicate, we can address those going forward. Grenada Invitational belongs to every single Grenadian. Everybody is proud, and when some of the athletes were being announced, I could feel the sense of excitement in the room, and I think that is something that we have to cherish. Marvin would know very well. There are a number of other countries who started invitational meets, and they're having challenges in keeping it going because of one thing and one thing only: cost. Cost is a major determining factor for sustaining an event like this. As we continue to get success, you see there's more interest, and more interest means that we have a greater expectation in investing more, because once the big athletes want to come, obviously their price tag is much higher, and require us to put in more to have them here. So we are going to look at it after this year's event. We'll see how far we can go, what we can do. But we calling on the sponsors to work with us and to find a way to work some magic to invest more to make this event one of Grenada's top event. I'm certain that after 4 years, I think it is getting easier for us. We have a greater understanding of what the do's and the don'ts want not to do, and I think we have stressed the committee to find ways of not cutting costs, but by savings where you can save. That in itself is a benefit. So we want to congratulate again the Invitational. and the sponsors, of course, for getting to where we are today. And we look forward to a wonderful 2020 Grenada Invitational meet. So I hope I'm available to be there. So last year I think I had a clash between invitation and a family wedding. So while I gave a speech in the wedding, somebody was calling me, Minister, ready for you to go out to speak now? So I said, family comes first. It's a very important wedding that I had to be there for her. So let's hope that doesn't happen this year. But thank you very much for having me, and the government of Grenada. We are pleased, and thank you very much for your contribution towards Grenada Invitational.
And you could tell the boss that we have some more sponsors, so tell the boss we have some more sponsors. What you see here, we have a little more, so he can start making his pitch for Usain Bolt and Daphne Skippers and call a few names, someone please, because the boss say if he see more sponsors, he go do more. So just let the boss know we have some more sponsors who you're not seeing here today. Right? We could put forward a team to go and visit him. Mr. John Williams, we have Mr. Archibald here, we have Mr. Archer, we have Mr. Gittins, we have Mr. Ashby here. We put forward a team to meet him. Members of the media, the floor is open for questions. Know you may want to have some questions for Mr. Mitchell or Senator Cox or Mr. Anderson. Mr. Peters is here as well. He will be willing to take some of your questions, all pertaining to the 4th Annual Grenada Invitational. Please just show by raise of your hands and they will accommodate you. But once that is done, of course, we'll invite you to the back to just have some refreshments with us. But we would like to get your questions, comments for members of the head table and anybody else. Or should I start with the first question? Yeah. You see, it's not a post-cabinet briefing. Yeah. Oh, they got all the information. All right, okay, all right. Okay, we have a question here.
Good morning, Rochelle Bean, MTV. My question is to Minister Cox. What is government's investment in the Games?
This is a real athletic event.
I think there is probably not a number, but one word can sum up government's investment, not only this year, but since inception. Invaluable. That I can tell you. It's difficult to quantify. There is so much that we are doing is either by way of concessions, either by way of other things. There is so much. It's difficult to quantify government's involvement, and we don't see it as contributing. We are a partner, and so it's not a matter for us looking at what in terms of cash we give. What we focus on really and truly is the success of the Games. That is what matters to us. Once the Games are successful, that means Grenada in itself would have been successful. So, but thank you very much for that question. But our contribution is invaluable.
Good morning, everyone. It's the 4th Annual Grenada Invitation on the road to Tokyo. I must say the minister was here this morning, so I feel happy that I didn't have to say anything, But for the Grenada Invitation, I'm all excited. I know you're interested in the headlines. We saw the headlines. But we'll also feature our local athletes We'll start at 3 p.m. With our over 14 events for the local athletes. We'll go with as low as under 12, same format as last year, with the primary school students, the under 12, the under 15, the under 17. We'll have some 100 meters for the different categories. We'll preview some relays and also a couple 400 meters together with two field events. The javelin, we're going to feature the javelin. To be able to be invited to qualify to participate, you must perform in the national meets. So you have to perform or participate at the KFC relay meet at your school sports. We have the national character trials. You have to perform. So we'll select the top athletes from the sports and invite them to the school, to the parents to participate as previous years. So we are looking forward to our students going out and compete in the school sports at the KFC meet this weekend, at the national championship trials, and other activities organized by the ministry and by the Grenada Athletics Association. And we will look at the fastest times, both from athletes from Carriacou and from here the fastest time, and you will be selected to compete in 14 events for the Grenada Invitation. So we'll start from 3. We have go up to 5. We'll feature our past Olympian, as the chairman alluded to before. And then our first event will start at 6:05 with the 400 meters hurdles. So we are looking forward to a full day. We'll conclude at the end at 8:30, 8:45 in the evening.
Well, thank you for your question. With the decathlon, it's a combination of events, and we do not offer the decathlon here. However, you will decide at a later date what combination of events he wants to take part in. I think at this moment he's leading to the javelin and the long jump, and if he does those two events, there's enough competition there for him to be competitive and get good marks. So in terms of Lyndon doing events here, he will be packaged around good competition, and it will add value and be able to push him so he can get good marks that will be able to assist him with getting the qualification for the games. I mean, well, just like for all the athletes, I mean, I don't want to speak to any specific negotiation, but in general, we have a list of well over 200 athletes, and I wouldn't want to single out any individual athletes, but negotiation will continue to ensure that we fill the lanes and ensure that we put together a field that represents Grenada and a quality field that is credible.
Not last year. I think year before, there was an email, and we were able to determine that the email was a malicious email from a made-up email address. The athletes were paid, so we don't have any outstandings. In fact, we could not have had that magnificent list of athletes this morning if we had any outstandings. So those things have been rectified.
mean, as an event, we just in general with the sports of track and field, we're always looking at new avenues of how to evolve the sports to ensure that the experience for our fans inside the stadium is awesome, and to ensure that we cater for our TV audience as well, to ensure that the event is packaged away where it's TV friendly and can be consumed and enjoyed by our TV audience. And we'll be consistently and looking at ways to really tweak it, to make it interesting, make it exciting, continue to create that festive environment inside the stadium. But sometimes it's tricky because sometimes you can create an environment which is conducive and exciting to the fans inside the stadium, but it's not TV friendly. So it's also to really ensure that we create that balance to where the event can be consumed by our fans inside the stadium, and to ensure that it maintains a quality that is TV friendly, because both goes hand in hand. But we continue to look at evolving ways, and I think going forward, one of the things we'll be looking to expand on is not only do we, I don't want to jump the gun with the chairman, but we're in discussion to see how we're going to have other events to complement the Grenada Invitational throughout the year, whether it's through workshop, through seminar, through staging a lifestyle. One of the things we want to promote is a healthy lifestyle through something like a marathon here in Grenada. So there's one of the things going forward is that we will have a combination of events that we will build around the Grenada Invitation to ensure that the brand remain relevant and be sustainable.
And well, just one of the things, I think I touched on it earlier on too. We've had a cultural presentation between the local segment and the international segment, and this year that presentation between the two meets or the two segments of the meet will be the parade of the past Olympians, and that will incorporate some cultural aspects also. We get to feature some aspects of our carnival, but we will have on full parade our past Olympians, those who are available to us, and then probably some messages from those who will not be in Grenada at the time. But we are going to have some kind of activity at the stadium featuring our past Olympians built around a cultural activity.
Well, one of the key components of the Invitational has to do with the advertisement package, and in terms of selling Grenada through the advertisement slots. As I indicated earlier on, the Invitational is a private company who has in its responsibility a public good. So it's a conversation where we both have to discuss to see how much we can do in terms of influencing what they can do based on the sponsorship. And as Marvin rightly said, it's not only just for the in-house audience, but also for the viewing audience. But we believe that the packages through the advertisement slots play a key role in terms of marketing Grenada, in terms of creating opportunities for us through that wide viewership. So basically that is where we are. We continue to discuss to see how we can evolve. But our greatest concern and expectation is the impact, how this game will continue to impact our local athletes, and that will transcend into them being successful or wanting to move on to the next level. That is what is important for us as the Ministry of Sports. And so bringing the games to Grenada, having it year after year, will continue to open up opportunities. There are other discussions taking place behind with individual athletes who have their own initiative and where we can establish bilaterals. So those things are happening quietly. So we have some other things working on, but as I say, it's a work in progress because it is important that we get the product to where it is so that we can market it in an acceptable manner, and that will blossom into other great opportunities for Grenada going forward. But we are excited. Grenada is doing excellent in terms of sports athletics in particular. I mean, I continue to say it over and over. I believe that sometimes we take our achievement for granted, and it's something that sticks with me everywhere I go. The last time we were We received an award in Florida. It's just clear to show that there are countries multiple times our size in land mass and population and have not achieved what we have achieved in the world of sports. So, I mean, we must be proud of that. And so, yes, we continue to improve, but I think it's important to recognize that we have a lot that is happening for us. And we need to also take stock of that so we don't lose that at all. Thank you.
Well, to really sum it up really simple, and so it's a very good question, is for the people of Grenada, all the partners, all the stakeholders to continue doing what they've been doing and to really tap it up just a little bit more. And that will ensure that we move up to a higher status. It's that simple. You come out and support the event, ensure that all the people of Grenada come out and support the event. All our volunteers, all our sponsors continue to give support to the event. Government have said it quite clear that they will continue to commit and support the event. And if, as a team, as a unit, and cohesively, we show that interest, that mutual interest for the games, we see no issue, no problem in ensuring that the event could go up to a status higher for 2021.
Well, a few weeks ago, we had the Canadian national track and field team here. Before the Invitational, they used to train in St. Kitts, and because of the exposure of the KYRON James Athletic Stadium, the coach, who is of Grenadian parentage, decided, obviously using his Grenadian influence, decided to move the training from St. Kitts to Grenada. Also, we had a young female athlete from England. I can't remember her name right now. Her grandmother is actually Grenadian, and she was at Silver Sands in July, and she actually used the facility. The former Olympic gold medalist Keishon Walcott, javelin thrower from Trinidad, was here earlier on this year also. He was at the stadium. He used the gym facilities at the stadium. So it is happening outside of the people who are coming to work with the technical people like Paul Phillips and so on. But we are making a more concerted effort working along with the ministry and the Athletic Association to make sure that we invite the people in. So we actually now have a wonderful working relationship with the Canadian Athletics Canada, as it were. And there are going to be some stuff done, so some material benefits where they will contribute shoes and spikes and so on to young Grenadian athletes and so. And obviously that will continue. There's some technical training. Probably Dr. Martin could speak to it a little bit in terms of what we do with the physios and the massage therapists and so on. We have people coming from outside of Grenada who can add technical support in that regard also. So, and if you look around the room, there are some specific persons who are invited, and it is because of that expanse of the development of sports in Grenada. So you have well-renowned, if we had a Hall of Famer, he will be in it, national basketball coach Naka Joseph is with us, and we want to acknowledge his contribution to sports. Mr. Gavin Taylor, physiotherapist, and Gavin is unique in that we ran, and I learned a lesson very early about not looking back. When we were in high school and ran my first 100 meter, I was told that Gavin is very quick. And I'm looking at Gavin, I was like, Gavin cannot be quick. And when we started the race, I got off the blocks ahead of everybody, and I couldn't see Gavin, so I looked back for him, and I'm still trying to catch him up to now. But Gavin went away and studied and actually came back and is offering his service. So having expanding, Paul should not be isolated in last suggest. Whatever he's doing should be part of the framework of the development of sports. Marvin touched on it. the idea that other things are going to happen. I mean, I think we're good now after 4 years that we can put on the event, but what else can we do so that Grenada can benefit? And we cannot speak to it as yet, but there are going to be some avenues where athletes are going to come in off-season, do the training, work with young people and so on. The volunteer program, Mr. Williams is the greatest volunteer in Grenada, you know, and what that has been done. And you have activities now happening, and people would call Mr. Williams and say, we need some volunteers, you know. So whatever is done, and the offshoots of that, we're very, 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 very strong about that, and that those things will continue.
Thank you very much. And folks, you can always feel free to engage any member of the panel, even during our little refreshment session. I'm quite sure they will be availing themselves to you. There are some things that they may not want to say on the microphone. I don't know why, but feel free to engage them as you go along. Thanks a lot again, everyone. Thanks a lot to Minister Cox for being here with us, the sports coordinator, Mr. Curlin Peters. In his absence also, we'd like to say a very special thank you to Mr. Charlie George. Members of the committee, Mr. Anderson, we'd like to say thanks a lot again to you for being here with us and gracing us with your presence. Fantastic job he's been doing. Mr. Royston LaHaye, thanks a lot for your presence again. Watching Mr. Lai, he had some good sprinting days too. And everybody else, thanks a lot. I see Mr. Pointy Archibald looking at me. Yeah. Can't talk about sprint and then talk about you and Brian Pitt. You know, those were the days of pretty boys running. Thanks again, members of the media. Thanks again for being here. Thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to our prospective sponsors. We want to say continue to spend time to get to know more about the Grenada Invitational. Speak to any one of us, and we'll give you all the information you need. And thanks again for being here with us, and enjoy the rest of your day, and God's blessings.
This live stream was powered by PartyGrenada.com.